Hello everybody and welcome back to Audacity Flips. Today I'm going to be showing you some secret items that make me thousands of dollars. So most of you guys know the pretty standard stuff, right? The standard stuff that's going to make you a ton of money. Obviously, if you find an iPhone or you find a GoPro or you find a game console or something like that, those are pretty obvious things that are going to make you money. But there's a lot of things that a lot of people pass over that they don't realize are worth money, but are worth a ton of money. So today, that's what we're going to cover is items that most people don't actually know are worth a lot of money, that are worth a lot of money. And none of these are things that I find like once a year. These are all items that I at least find like one a month, right? These are pretty regular items in my store. These are not things that are impossible to find. These are things that I find relatively regularly. So let's jump right into it. So the first one is going to be car parts. Now, this can be whatever. This can be new. This can be used. Doesn't really matter, but car parts in general. I see car parts everywhere. I see them at flea markets. I see them at thrift stores, and nobody wants them. And most of the times, it's things like these. These are two Spec D 94 through 98 Mustang fog lights, which is actually really cool. I'm the 97 Cobra, and then a 2012 GT500 and 14 GT500, and a Fox body. Long story short, I was a big Mustang guy before I got my current car. So these were pretty cool to find. I knew instantly what these were just because I was familiar with the space. But even if you didn't, they have codes all over them, markings that you could easily look up and figure out what they were. But the person selling them didn't know what they were because you have to do a bit of research and Google search these numbers and stuff to figure out what it was. He had these marked for $2 a piece. Now, as you can see, I sold these. I sold these for $50. Free shipping because they're very light. I believe together they were under a pound, but $50. And I sold them in one day. One single day. I sold them. One day. Another crazy listing I had in these, you're not going to find. I had the only ones literally on eBay, period, was I sold my set of 2012 GT500 Recaro seats for $6,600. That's right, $6,600 for those pair of seats. Okay, now this is not uncommon. Those seats are, but things like this, right? I have a pair of Mercury Marauder blacked out like corner taillights. I bought them for $4 a piece. I have them up for $190, and I already have 2 or 3 watchers on them. Car parts like this, OEM, non-OEM, especially OEM stuff. Even if they're headlights and they're foggy, you could easily clean those up. Stock airboxes, things like this. This stuff is a gold mine, and for whatever reason, nobody picks this stuff up. I see this stuff all the time for a couple dollars. Taillights for a couple bucks, headlights for a couple bucks, grills for $10, $12, $15, $20. Yes, they're kind of a pain in the butt to ship if you get the bigger items, but make the buyer pay. And if you price it competitively because you bought it for so low, I always just undercut the market. Like the rest of these were selling for like $70, but I was like, whatever, I'm in them $4, just got rid of them. Got out of them. Super easy. Car parts. Great category. Next one is slot cars. Now, this one, I will admit, is like a little kind of sort of skewed, right? These are the Ken Block, RIP Ken Block. That's one of the reasons why they sold for this price. But these cars I actually had, and I just never listed them. So I had 3 or 4 of them, and I think I kept one, and I put the rest for sale. But I bought these at a flea market for $20 a piece. And even before he passed, they were selling for $80. Okay, so I just literally went, I bought all of them, and this is like, I don't know, 2 months ago, 2 months before he passed. I just had them and I just never listed them. And as soon as I heard I listed them, they sold within the day, obviously because of what happened. But even you could look at their sales before, they were selling regularly for $80 or $90. And especially if you can get the old vintage, like the small slot cars, I sold a Ford Escort that I got for like 50 cents practically because I got it in a whole kit. That wasn't even supposed to be in there, by the way. I sold it for $550. for this little tiny slot car. And I see slot cars a lot, and they bring really good money. A lot of people will just either think they're old or, they're crap or whatever. Not every single one is going to be worth a ton of money, but they're super, super worth it. Especially if you see a bin at a flea market or thrift store or whatever of like cars, and they all look like Hot Wheels cars. That is where you make the money. I cannot tell you how many times I have looked at those little bins and there's slot cars in there, and they don't know because they just think they're another Hot Wheels or whatever, little die-cast car, but they're slot cars or Tyco slot cars or whoever, and I make some good money. So never be passing up slot cars. Now this one, people really, really sleep on. I have multiple reseller buddies. They're kind of new, haven't been doing it for a while. They took my course. They're getting familiar, and they recently was like, oh my gosh, before your course, I had no idea that these things were worth so much money, but they're worth a fortune. And this one is also a sold listing of mine. Check this out. Printer ink cartridges, printer ink, toner cartridges, expired. This is the sold price. 6 of them, $12.22. Right now it's $314.23. So 6 of them, I paid $10 a piece, so I'm in at $60. Expired, but brand new, $550. And again, this is not something that is rare. This is not a rare occurrence for me. I find toner cartridges, I find ink cartridges all the time. And a lot of people, because when I go to flea markets, I always use it as a negotiation tool. I'll say, oh, well, this ink is expired. And most of the time, they'll give it to me for 50 cents or $1 because they think it's no good, even though it is. By the way, these ink cartridges are good. And if you're wondering why people buy them so much, this deal only lasted, I think, 4 days before the whole thing sold. I was going to sell them individually, but I didn't want to deal with it. Essentially, I've asked somebody, because I actually have 2 or 3 people that constantly message me asking me if I have more ink. Essentially, there are these companies that go through to these businesses and just replace all their ink cartridges and charge them a fee as like brand new, right off the shelf, but it's not. They use this expired ink. It works fine. The company has no idea, and they make the money in between. So I don't have a problem with that. I paid $60 for this after everything was said and done, probably $450 after shipping fees, whatever. $400, $450, somewhere in that ballpark. But expired ink is a gold mine, and nobody seems to understand it. Another one that I see people pass up on all the time is nicotine gum. Actually, this is my listing right here. May as well click on it and show you guys so you can see. This is 2 packs of this gum here. 160 pieces, 2. They are expired. Sorry, these ones are not expired. But even expired, I had a case, and I probably had 80 of them, and they were all expired in like 21, and I sold all of them for $40 to $60 a box, depending on the flavor and the count and whatnot, for $40 to $60. But I sold them all in like a week or 2. These things fly off the shelf if you price them competitively. These things fly off the shelf. I have never had a product to date that sells better than nicotine gum or nicotine patches. That stuff flies off the shelf, and most of the time you can get it for pennies, so it allows me to price it super competitively. These 2 boxes, I ended up paying up for them a little bit. I think I ended up paying $10 for both boxes. Normally I can get these, especially when they're expired, for like $1, $2 a box. So nicotine gum, nicotine patches, keep your eyes peeled for those, because those can be really, really good. Now on to this one. This one you guys might know. This one's pretty popular. A lot of people know about this, but Texas Instrument calculators. As you can see, this is just, me just scrolling through. I'm not like cherry picking, obviously you have to look up what type it is, because some are obviously worth much more than others. You can see 29, 50, 50, 50, best offer of 75, 69, like they're kind of all over the place, especially for these like cheap, crappy ones. Here's one for 135, right? But Texas Instrument calculators, sorry, my nose is so itchy. Texas Instrument calculators are really, really good, really quick money. These things also fly off the shelf if you price them competitively. Like if you sell one of these, the biggest one I see is the TI-84. These, I'll price these for $60 and they'll be gone in an hour or two. So that just gets that out of my life. Done deal. Even if they're corroded, even if they don't have batteries, that stuff will make you money all day. Now on to the last one. I know it was only supposed to be 5, but I gotta put you guys on some game, okay? This one, no one talks about. I have never, ever, 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 ever heard anybody ever talk about this, but this one makes me a lot of money. I actually find these quite often, and oh man, I love finding these. These are incredible, incredible, incredible finds because every other reseller passes them up, and that is Cutco blocks. That's right, Cutco knife blocks. You don't even have to have the knives. Look at these. $58. This guy sold it super cheap. That's impressive. Took a best offer probably of like $10, but he probably paid $1 for it, right? Best offer of 50, best offer of 75, 30. These are the actual knives. You find the knives. That's the real gold mine. But these blocks, 47, 261 with the knives, 18. That's not that expensive. 600 with the knife, 91. These are the ones I seem to get right here. The ones right here. And obviously, but if you look here, this guy took horrible pictures. You probably could have got more if he took better pictures. But these style is the ones I seem to get the most, and I get about anywhere from $40 to $90 depending on how many slots it's for. But it's not just Cutco. There's a few other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But if you see a really high quality looking knife block, look it up. Because there's a chance that it could be worth money, just the block. And I love these because everybody just walks right by them. And they sell good. They sell within a week. Every one I've ever had, I think the longest I've ever had one was like 2 months. And it was because it was an expensive one. It was, let's see if I can find one on here. I've never been fortunate enough to find one with the knife. Yeah, it was exactly like this. It was exactly like this. It was a really big one. And I couldn't believe it. And I was like, oh man, this is probably worth $100. And no, I had mine listed for actually a little more than this, but I had free shipping. I think it was listed for like $220. And that one I had for like 2.5, maybe 3 weeks, but it sold for $220. These things people sleep on. I buy them at the garage sales. I found them at Salvation Army. I found them at the Goodwill bins. People, for whatever reason, they just tend to sleep on these. And the last one that I don't have any pictures of because I'm just now thinking about, again, giving you guys that free game. This is why you guys got to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the description, but is sealed puzzle or board games. Okay, sealed puzzle or board games, even board games, and even specifically puzzles. That's the big one. A lot of times you see these puzzles of like this, I don't know, like a garden or something, and you're like, oh, that's crap. Like who wants that? Look it up. Some of those are pictures of like artists, famous artists' work and stuff like that, and you would be shocked. I have sold so many sealed puzzles that I thought were just like dollar store puzzles. They look nothing fancy, special at all, and I look at the sold comps, boom, they're selling for $30, $50, $80. I did sell one on Amazon, and it was for like $200. It was just random puzzle. It was only like 400 pieces, and it was insane. I couldn't believe that people are paying that. But sealed puzzles are a great one. Never buy used puzzles because you never know if the pieces are there. Same thing with board games. Unless it's a really, really, really good like vintage board game, I won't touch it unless it's new. So those are 5 and more items that will make you thousands of dollars on eBay. Seriously, guys, if you take these and run with it, keep your eyes peeled for these things. You'll absolutely outsell these other resellers that are skipping out on this stuff. So make sure you guys are looking for this stuff next time you are out. If this video helped you in any way, make sure you guys are liking this video, also subscribing for more content. I do plan on doing a $5 to $1,000 series here, so I'm very much looking forward to that challenge. So if you guys are excited, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.